I'm really, really honored to be here this evening and welcome you all to this amazing occasion. Aren't they adorable? And I thought we could take just a minute and have everybody close their eyes and just do a blessing before we start. So would everybody please be willing to do that? Close your eyes. Take some really deep breaths. In a moment of gratitude that we've been invited to witness this amazing event of these two most loving men who've been walking together for a long time and invited us here to celebrate this really sacred relationship. And for all of you out there to know that you being here as a community to witness their awesomeness and be here with wonder and awe is enormously meaningful to them. And for the two of you to remember that you are surrounded by a community of love that holds you, supports you, appreciates you, and is extraordinarily grateful for what you have created. So if you'll open your eyes and you guys can begin.
Okay. Now, not all of you know both of us. And those of you who do know both of us know us from different areas in our lives. So we thought we would introduce each other to all of you.
I would like to introduce you to the man of my dreams.
I would like to introduce you to the man I call the handsome man.
Tom is a lefty, a commie, pinko liberal that has disagreements with me over politics.
And Marty is a lefty, commie, pinko liberal who has disagreements with me over politics.
Tom, like Woody Allen, is at two with nature.
Marty feels grounded and spiritual in nature.
Tom's favorite science fiction author is Theodore Sturgeon, whom he assumes no one has ever heard of.
Marty's favorite science fiction author is Neil Stephenson, who he erroneously assumes everyone has heard of.
I see Tom as the orphan son of the fairy king and queen of Europe.
I see Marty as the next stage in evolution, born with mutant powers. Marty is very deliberate when he makes food for himself. He uses a recipe, prepares the ingredients beforehand, loves condiments, and cares about the presentation.
When Tom cooks for himself, he puts a piece of cooked chicken between two plain slices of bread and calls it a sandwich.
Amen.
Marty loves Alice in Chains and is trapped in the 90s.
Tom is a deadhead and is trapped in the 70s. Neither of us have been able to get past the turn of the century in terms of music.
Marty likes finding ways of looking at the world and addressing problems.
Tom is addicted to stories of superheroes, aliens, and anyone who is different.
While Marty is comfortable with routine, he likes to try new things.
While Tom values being spontaneous, he is constantly planning his next move.
While I think of myself as short and awkward, Marty thinks of me as big and muscular.
Tom likes to watch professional wrestling. I wouldn't mind him wrestling me with me some more. Tom loves his puppies.
I turn Marty on to the joy of puppies.
Tom cares about what people think, both about him and what they value, and how they look at the world.
Marty sees the beauty in nature and in the workings of the cosmos.
Tom loves to dance.
Marty likes to dance with me and show off.
Tom tries to be helpful and offers me advice, sometimes too much advice.
Marty tries to be helpful by finishing my sentences, mostly with the wrong word.
Tom doesn't see himself as a leader, but is highly effective when he gives himself a chance.
Marty is constantly surprising me with his self-discipline and the number of skills he has. Marty is a great father. He doesn't think so, but you can tell by the overwhelming love and respect his boys have for him.
Amen.
Tom always felt sad when he would never have children. He is overwhelmed by the bond he shares with my sons.
Marty feels that he and I are always in the middle of an I Love Lucy episode.
Tom is my hero. He always leaves himself open to the possibilities of love, despite the risks.
Marty learned as a child that trusting people was dangerous.
Tom learned as a child that he would spend much of his life alone.
Marty loves humor that involves surprise.
Tom's laugh carries the world.
Marty has embraced a life with me. He has not been deterred by any of my bad habits, endless stories, or improbable schemes.
Tom's favorite sound is my laughter. Tom is rendered speechless by the touch of my hands or the sight of my tears.
So we wrote our own vows. This extemporaneous is that what happened is we couldn't think of vows, so we got on the internet and we looked at lots and lots of vows. And Marty said, "No, this is too much. I'm going to bed." So I paraphrased one of the online things, that basically just took somebody else's words and rearranged them. And that was enough to get Marty to look at it again and say, "This isn't any good." So he sat down and he really wrote the vows and did an incredible job. I stand here before friends and family, our community and our tribe, to say that I respect and love you. I look to you for inspiration when I am filled with doubt, and in celebration when I am filled with joy. Today, I affirm before all these people what we have known for almost 20 years, that we will always be here for each other. I promise to encourage you and support you. I will laugh with you and remind you to have fun. I promise to love you when it seems the most bleak. I promise to love you when it seems the most natural thing in the world and when it seems almost impossible. I promise to take your concerns to heart. I promise to cherish you more each day. These words I say today, I will hold sacred the rest of my life.
I stand here before friends and family, our community and our tribe, to say that I respect and love you. I look to you for inspiration when I am filled with doubt, and in celebration when I am filled with joy. Today I affirm before all these people what we have known for almost 20 years, that we will always be here for each other. I promise to encourage you and support you. I will laugh with you and remind you to have fun. I promise to love you when life is good and when it seems bleak. I promise to love you when it seems like the most natural thing in the world and when it seems almost impossible. I promise to take your concerns to heart. I promise to cherish you more each day. These words I say today, I will hold sacred all the days of my life.
And now I'm supposed to say something. I've had the amazing fortune for the last year, right, to sit with these wonderful men every week for an hour and a half and witness this amazing evolution of their relationship. And I have to tell you, I sit with people all the time. They're all wonderful. But when I know Tom and Marty are coming to my office, my heart just opens up. And I feel when I sit with them that I am bathed with a kind of light and a kind of warmth that I rarely get a chance to be with. And I'm incredibly grateful for having that experience of watching them grow more and more and take enormous emotional risks as they get closer and closer to each other. And they teach me the very important lesson of when in doubt, move toward relationship. That when you're scared, open your heart anyway. That we may be different, but we can learn to celebrate that difference and cherish it. And I believe that love isn't a feeling. Love is a decision followed by action, which means we have to love and behave in a loving way even when we don't feel like it. And it takes a very mature person to be able to do that. And I get to sit on a regular basis and watch these two men exhibit that. To go through, even when they're scared, even when it's the most terrifying thing, they will step into it anyway. So I feel very humbled to be here tonight. I feel a huge celebration that finally these two men can get married. That we all have the good fortune to celebrate with them. So, could we have the rings, please? Is that the right ones?
Yes.
Page 6 is missing.
Yes.
I'll do it.
Just throw it away.
I give you this ring, Martin Rick's ring, as a symbol of our love and friendship. With this ring I marry you, and I'm honored to call you my husband.
There it goes.
I give you this ring, Thomas Allen Seidner, as a symbol of our love and friendship. With this ring, I marry you, and am honored to call you my husband.
In me by the state of California, I guess. I now pronounce you husband and husband. Nobody stomp on it. Stomp on it together. So I'm just going to read a really brief blessing, and then we'll go and do a reception line, right?
No, Tom has a poem to read.
Oh, go ahead.
That's right. First.
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
wonderful.
You might have noticed this isn't your typical wedding.
Why not?
Part of it is that Marty are incapable of and adverse to doing anything in the normal way. But it's also because our marriage is not just a celebration of love, but also a recognition of justice. Because neither of us growing up could have imagined a day when it would be impossible to have a marriage by two men recognized by the government and accepted by our neighbors. Change happens, but not by itself. While we would have liked our boys here and other members of our biological families in addition to my father and sister, there's a reason why you are here and the other people we invited are also our family. It's because you and others have made this day possible. Some people have taken greater risks than others and pursued more deliberate actions to advance social justice, but all of you who are here have made some effort to be here.
Amen.
And let me assure you, none of you was invited without a great deal of thought.
Thank you.
And love. Sometimes when we celebrate romantic love, we devalue all the other ties between us. As someone who has spent a fair portion of my life not in a couple, I want you to know that the ways that each of you has reached us out to me and Marty cannot be trivialized. We could not continue to be in love without you. I said we could continue to be in love without you, but we were only having this stay because of you. And of course I wrote a poem about it.
All right.
It's called What the Choice Is. I've been asked if it's a choice, and people seem surprised when I say it is. It has to be made over and over again every minute of our lives. The choice is to live in love or to live in fear. The world is beautiful but not kind. As much as I would love to live in a Disney world where the squirrels helped me and find lost objects and rabbits kept me abreast of my appointments, if there is to be kindness in the world, it can only come through us. The choice is not an easy one, and I make the selfish one often. The temptation is to dwell on the ways I've been hurt or disparaged and not extend myself in any meaningful way. Clearly, there is a question of focus here. Because there are people who shame me in their caring for others and the thankless work that they do. Saying words that are explosive, laying waste to the lie I tell myself that I am helpless to change things. Sometimes we retreat from grief rather than fear. Many of us have lost parents, lovers, children, and it seems disrespectful to go through our day and act like nothing has changed. But we actually insult the ones that we have lost. Because they extended themselves to us and others, protected us, valued us, taught us to love. If not for those before us, we would not be here today. And the challenge is to say the obvious, embarrassing words that we rarely use. You are important to me. I value you. I'm always suspicious of holiness. I would rather see someone come into a dirty kitchen and start washing dishes and utter empty words. But recognition is important that the efforts of others made possible the joy we share today. Each of you made the choice to come here and honor our love. Each of you made the choice to come here and love us. Each of you made the choice to let us love you. When people ask if loving another person is a choice, be sure to tell them yes, and be sure to tell them why. So weddings are not just about the joining of individuals, but also about the joining of families. My father and Phyllis are up here. I would like to ask Cindy and Justin, my sister and brother-in-law, to come up here as well.
I'm so proud.
Okay. So Marty can decide what other members of my family he actually was. But I would like to ask one more thing of the four of you. Our biggest regret is that Marty's sons could not be here today. I would like you to all not acknowledge that Kylie, Jordan, and Jesse have been as close to me as any sons of my body. And we will never forget Jordan as we welcome Kylie and Jesse and their loved ones into this new, extended, very 21st century family.
Thank you, everyone. I'm just overwhelmed. Thank you for being here to witness our marriage and celebrating our love. A reception and dinner will follow. Please wait while Tom and I and our families exit and join us for a reception and dinner next door at the Ocean Beach Inn.
Yay.